So you want the basics on how to become a warrant officer, huh? Stay tuned and I'll let you know.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go. Hard work, work. Everybody doing it right. Hard work, work, work. That's what I say. Hard work, work, work. Earn what pay. Hard work.
So you thought about this journey of becoming a warrant officer, and you don't know how to go about it. So this is the easiest, fastest way to figure out how to go about becoming a warrant officer. First, figure out what type of warrant you want to be. Do you want to be a signal warrant? Do you want to be a cyber warrant? Do you want to be a transportation warrant? Typically, most people who want to become warrant officers pick something that's within their MOS. So, for example, if you are a 42 Alpha, which is that administrative, then you have the 420, which is the warrant officer in the administrative part. So like a lot of them follow suit with the MOS. Second, make sure your MOS is a feeder MOS. A feeder MOS is an MOS that leads into that warrant officer branch. Enlisted, you have MOSs, officers have branches. So you want to make sure your MOS is a feeder to that branch. So if you look up the prerequisites to become that type of warrant officer you want to be, it will show you the feeders, the feeder MOSs that lead into that branch. For example, I'll say signal. If you want to become a signal warrant, they might look for 25 uniforms, 25 Bravos, 25 Novembers. Those are all feeder MOSs. Now, signal warrants are 255 Alphas and 255 Novembers. So if you notice, I said 25, 25, 25. That's all within that signal branch. So hence the feeder. Some feeders might be a little off or a little different than your typical feeder MOSs, but when you look up the prerequisites to become a warrant, it will show you. Number 3. So make sure that you have the proper rank. And what I mean for rank is, to become a warrant, typically they want E5 and above, but you can be an E4 to become a warrant. So you want to make sure you're at the proper, let's say, rank or grade to be eligible to become a warrant. However, that is something I believe that is waiverable. Waiverable means that they can waive that or write that off in lieu of the normal prerequisite. So, but typically they want E5 and E5 who has had ALC. Make sure you look at all the prerequisites. So if you're an NCO, you're going to need so many NCO ERs. You're going to need whatever that packet's calling for. The signal packet, you know what? The transportation packet might call for, you have to have so many vehicles that you're licensed for. Your NCO ERs have to state that, you were the trans chief being enlisted. But there's going to be certain prerequisites that it's asking for. And it's going to look for either you definitely have to have your NCO ERs, which I believe can be waived if you have civilian experience that can suffice. But look at the prerequisites on that. So you could have civilian experience or military experience, or put them both together in the packet. Next, make sure I keep saying make sure you follow the prerequisites, but one of the prerequisites might be you have to have a certain certification. I know when I became a signal warrant, I had to have Security Plus, non-waivable. So you might be able to waive, let's see, NCO ERs. You might be able to waive, you might be able to waive some things, but that was non-waivable. So make sure you have whatever requirements that it's asking for complete. The big one. Your letter of recommendation I actually did a video on this, so I'll drop a little tag to it to link you to it. You want to get a letter recommendation from your senior warrant officer. The senior warrant officer that you know, or the senior warrant officer that knows you. So typically, hopefully you have a warrant officer that's grooming you to become a warrant. I had a mentor who groomed me into becoming a warrant. Sometimes when you have that mentor, he might tell you, he or she might tell you, hey, you know what, I know you want to go down this path. I think you're a great soldier. How about we talk in about 6 months, you know, and we'll revisit this, you know, and I'll just keep my eye on you to see, you know, where you're going and how things are going, and maybe guide you in the right direction. And then we'll revisit this later. A lot of times they want to make sure you're worthy of their letter. I've seen that happen quite a few times. Kind of happened to me. But you need that senior warrant officer letter recommendation. If you don't have a senior warrant officer to go to, a W3 and up, try to find a warrant within your battalion brigade and ask them to find one for you. And then let him do the linking. Make sure your packet is complete. This is pretty much last but not least, self-explanatory. Make sure your packet is complete. Make sure you meet all the criteria. We've had a soldier who slipped through the cracks, which it can happen, but then again, that's not to say that they won't revoke your WOC status. Make sure you meet all the criteria before you even push that packet forward, because it's going to be reviewed by that senior warrant officer, or the CCWO, or the senior warrant officer in your chain of command. The S1, they're going to review it to make sure you have everything. You have to get a letter of recommendation from the commander also. So he's going to go off of what the senior warrant officer says about you, and he's going to co-sign that. But not to say that he won't go down the list and make sure, okay, he has 5 NCO yards, he has this experience, he has that credential, he has this, because he's going to double check that because his name is going on it too. He's co-signing it. So you want to make sure you have everything in place, everything set before you let them submit that packet. But they'll make sure everything is just right dressed. Another route, which you'll still have to get the same documents or the same prerequisites, is to use your accessions NCOs. They are your NCOs that work on the officers and warrant officers in their recruiting. They're called Ascension, Accessions. They're not your regular recruiters or retention. These ones specifically do officers and warrant officers, bringing them in from, let's say, from the enlisted side to the officer side. So I ran down a list of things for you to do if you want to become a warrant officer. Just follow that list. You can't go wrong. And like I said, look up to see what job you want to do. Then you'll see the prerequisites, and then you go line by line. And then you'll be ready to become one of us. That's it for now. You guys stay strong, stay dangerous. Till the next time. Peace.